Assalamu alaikum and hello. This is Fatma Dosari, the Executive Director of Qatar America Institute for Culture, or CAIC. We are an independent nonprofit organization based in Washington, D.C., where we do curation and creation and execution of programs and research that is focused on art and culture from Qatar, the Islamic world, and the United States. I would like to welcome today our expression speaker. So we have regularly an expressions art and culture series where we host creatives and experts on subject matters related to art and culture from Qatar, from the Arab and Islamic worlds, and the United States, where they can talk about their inspirations and their influences and how we find that synergy between the East and the West. And today we are very happy to host Khalifa Al-Thani, who is going to start the year and start this wonderful partnership with the Doha Film Institute for 2021. And also I want to welcome our audience today and our viewers from Qatar, from the United States, and from all around the world. We're very happy to have you. And as I said, our first session for 2021. And I would like to encourage you to post your questions if you have any questions. Khalifa is really excited to share some of his thoughts with us today. And I want to start by giving a little bit of an overview about Khalifa, and I'm sure everyone is also excited to hear more about him, from him. So Khalifa is a Qatari filmmaker, curator, and a visual artist. He has worked on a variety of projects ranging from films to art exhibitions. His work emphasizes on interdisciplinary explorations of Qatari and identity themes. In the last few years, he directed, wrote, and produced several films, most notably A Tale of a Song with Aljazeera Documentary. Additionally, he ventured into curatorial works, most recently Outbreak, which took place during the Ajyal Film Festival 2020. He earned his Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Film and Video from the School of Visual Arts in New York City. And he currently is a part of the film training and development team at the Doha Film Institute. He is currently in the production of his film, Border, which we are excited to hear more about in a bit. But before we start, I want to also thank again the Doha Film Institute for sharing some of Khalifa's time with us today and for supporting us since 2019. We've started a partnership with the Doha Film Institute, and actually we're also really happy to accompany the CEO of the Doha Film Institute, Fatma Rumehi, and her team in the Oscars, where the Doha Film Institute was supporting two films that were nominated for the Oscars. So films supported by the Institute, the Doha Film Institute, have won more than 350 awards, including wins at major international film events such as Cannes and Venice. The Doha Film Institute is the first Arab film organization to score 9 Oscar nominations for 6 consecutive years. So we're very proud of the Doha Film Institute, and I'm sure that Khalifa is also proud to be part of this amazing team. And we are excited, to have you here today, Khalifa. And please let us hear more about your thoughts and see some of your creative work. And I'm sure everyone here is excited to see it.
First of all, thank you so much, Fatma, for this great introduction. I'm really happy to be a part of being the first interview with Qatar America for the Year of Culture. I thank you guys for what you do. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful. So I would like to start, Khalifa, by perhaps you can show us some of your creative work. We know we talked a lot about your website and the creative work that you have. So maybe you can take us on a virtual tour so we can see that.
Sure. Let me just, okay. I'm just trying to share the screen. It's not letting me.
Let me share it with you here, just in case. There you go.
Yes, perfect. All right, so yeah, I haven't updated my website for a while, but I can definitely show you guys what I have, show the viewers. So if I can go back to the beginning of this is my student projects that I started with from the beginning. So it's just some small stuff that I've done when I was in college. 6 millimeter film. I just wanted to experiment a little bit in different mediums, in different stories, in different whether it's digital or 60 millimeter. I just wanted to experiment a little bit. I as a filmmaker, it's really important for the student to explore in different genres, to actually just to see what kind of voice you're trying to emulate. I can show the clip that I've done, which is like a mockumentary that I've done in 2017, just to get a glimpse of the one of the recent stuff that I've done. So I did this. It was like a short political take on in 2017.
انا الله يسلمك يسموني المفبرك العود، وبوايد احب اكذب، بس يعني حلوه الكذبه لما تطلع مني، عرفت؟ اليوم انا جاي هنا عشان نتكلم عن قله الحليب، وهاي هو يعني الناس تسالني انا في كل الامور اعطيهم اللي يبونه. اي واحد يبي اي قصه عندي اعطيك اياها عادي، ما عندي اي مشكله. And I see this guy, he says he's Spider-Man, and he punches me in the face, breaks my glasses, gives me a black eye, and I can't do anything with my life now. يسموني استاذ فبرك.
So this is something that I've done in 2017. It was something that was short and political, and I want to just experiment with it.
So we can also direct the viewers to go to your website. Can you share your website with us?
Yeah. Where do I show it? Do I send it here in the chat?
Just, you can say it. Just say it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's khalifaalthani.com.
Khalifaal-Thani.net.
.net. So if anyone of our viewers is interested to see more of Khalifa's clips and works, they can go there, and even they can send us some of the questions here we can answer today, or they will be in touch with you through different means as well.
Sure.
Wonderful. No worries. So let me start then our conversation today. And I'm actually interested to ask you more, since you've earned your bachelor's in film and video from the School of Visual Arts in New York City. I'm interested to hear more about your experience there as a student and as life in New York. How was it for you? How was New York an inspiration for your work? And also, how was the US an inspiration for your work? We usually hear the American side of being inspired by Qatar and the Arab and Islamic worlds, but I'm interested to hear the Qatari perspective on how the US can be a source of inspiration.
Yes. So when I was in college, I obviously learned the foundation of film. So I learned the steps of trying to make a film. So we learned about screenwriting, whether it's editing, and all the different elements to create a film. However, the stories, stems from us. Like, what kind of stories does one want to make? It took me a while to figure out what kind of story I wanted to tell. It's very difficult to navigate a filmmaker. It's not difficult, but it takes a lot of time to figure out what kind of film or what kind of voice you want to create in film. So I'm still in the process of that. But in school, I enjoyed learning about other people. There's sources of inspiration all around us. So the students and I were, there's the ratio of international versus local filmmakers there it was drastic. So it was very nice to be around being in a space where you're free to express the story that you want to tell. Um, and but I think by senior year, I actually decided I wanted to make my film about Qatar, because in the beginning I was still trying to learn how to create stories and make stuff, and my senior year was something that was stems from Doha.
That's wonderful. So can you tell us a little bit, I know we chatted before the start of the webinar about the Qatar 2030 exhibition.
Mhm.
And as you mentioned, and as we have been also sharing with our viewers in the last couple of sessions of expressions, that we're really excited that this year is the Qatar US 2021 Year of Culture. And we're interested to hear your thoughts on how Qatar 2030 vision has, what is the connection between the Year of Culture and the 2030 vision and the creatives, like yourself, who create a lot of cultural works, just as you said, a film about Qatar. How does that kind of relate to Qatar 2030 vision?
So I had my artwork that I did was a collaboration with Fatma Ghanem, who was actually part of the DFI family, and we decided we wanted to create something that has it contributes all the four pillars, the human, social, environment, etc. And we wanted to think about how we can tell it in a way where it's direct, but it's also it contributes everything that was connected to the future, but also including the past. So this video that we did was a juxtaposition between or old Qatar and new Qatar, and showing all the achievements that was made through a screen, which was in a white neon. So it's a mixed medium, and we wanted to have the brightness of the TV, just showing prosperity and the future in a way. So it has this a little bit of like this symbolic sense to it. And in the Year of Culture, obviously, we wanted to include something that had it can work in many years from now.
That's beautiful. So if someone like me who was not able to see the exhibition in person, how would I be able to see it again? Would it be exhibited somewhere else or virtually, or is it going to be exhibited somewhere that we can visit?
Right now, it's in the National Museum of Qatar. But yeah, hopefully we can, it can be, see, art can go in different directions. I mean, right now it's in the National Museum. Hopefully it can be somewhere else in the future, or stays there, or whichever. But there's going to be more artworks in the future by myself and different artists, inshallah. So there's going to be a lot of different opportunities.
That's wonderful. And talking about future works, can you tell us a little bit more about your short film, Border?
Yeah. So Border is a story that is based on a true. It's based on a true story. I mean, it happens to myself and a lot of other people. It's not just about one race. I mean, the protagonist is an Arab Muslim, but it also connects itself in different races. So there's different people that actually, a lot of people feel a certain way when they enter the airport, and there's a lot of prejudice that comes with it. So the story takes place in a dystopian world where a man, Muhammad, is trying to kind of just go through, safely in an airport back to his home country. But obviously, there's a lot of different struggles, and it's set in a dystopian future. I was supposed to film it in March of last year, but obviously things happened, and so we had to postpone it. But hopefully, it's going to happen this year, inshallah.
That's wonderful, amazing. Let me take you a little bit on a journey in memory lane for your childhood and for your personal history and background. Can you tell us, growing up in Qatar, what sort of films and television shows were you exposed to, whether local or Middle Eastern or international? Was there any particular genre that resonated with you and influenced your decision to pursue filmmaking?
I loved writing since I was a kid. I just enjoyed writing stories, stories about myself, stories about things that are happening around me, trying to kind of fictionalize everything around me, and it's like some sort of escapism that was happening. I was exposed to a lot of Western films, obviously. All of us were exposed to Western films, Egyptian films as well. And that inspired me to write stories about things that, I never really saw myself in film to begin with. I loved writing, I loved film, but thankfully, the last 10, 15 years, there was opportunities in the mainstream media, which helped us, people who wanted to pursue film as a career and not just as a hobby. So yeah.
Yeah. So, and speaking about that as well, is there a filmmaker, regional or international, that you consider to be your inspiration? Someone who has a style of filmmaking that you try to emulate?
I really, really like Mohsen Makhambar. He's an Iranian filmmaker. He makes great films. I actually met him in Busan Film Festival, and we had a nice discussion. There's a lot of international filmmakers that I really love, and the ones in Hollywood. Yorgos Lanthimos is a Greek filmmaker. He made the movie The Lobster. So my film is hopefully going to be something that's in a more dystopian. I'm still trying to find my voice in film, but someone like Yorgos Lanthimos, Bong Joon-ho, who just won for Parasite, certain filmmakers that I really look up to. However, I don't really try to emulate anyone in particular. I try to create something for myself. But yeah, I mean, I look up to these filmmakers. And Ashkar Farhadi.
That's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
About Ashkar Farhadi?
Yes.
Okay, Ashkar Farhadi, he won for The Salesman. He's an Iranian filmmaker. I'm not sure how many Oscars he won, but he actually he was a part of Qamra's he gave a master talk in Qamra a couple of years ago, and he had a lot of great advice for the emerging filmmakers here in Doha.
Yeah. And if I recall correctly, also The Salesman was one of the films that was also supported by DFI.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, I think there was two films, or 2 to 3 films that was supported by that he made that was supported by DFI. We have a lot of filmmakers.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Great. So speaking about your own voice and your work emphasizes on interdisciplinary exploration of Qatari and identity themes. Can you expand on those topics for us a little bit more? I know, a lot of people look at Qatar as a young country with a young and emerging film industry, and they're really curious, and I'm curious also to hear from you. How do you think that you're trying to convey, and what do you hope to make the audience think or feel through your work?
When I say interdisciplinary exploration of Qatar and its identity, I'm speaking in terms of storytelling. So storytelling can vary from contemporary art, from using, let's say, mixed installations, mixed mediums, doing using different elements to explore an identity, which is Qatar. I personally felt I think when I was in college, especially, I tried to write different stories, but nothing was really coming from my region. I was just trying to kind of go with the flow, just do what everyone else is doing. However, by my senior year, when I started to write a lot about Qatar, I started writing more and more scripts that comes from the region, that uses its history, that explores different elements from my country. So my focus from then on, especially from 2015, was exploring a lot of the identity that we lived through. And so recently I started to actually work in using different elements to create an identity, to create our identity. So whether it's story, whether it's different parts of it, part of in the mediums that I chose, it varies from one thing to the other. Yeah. But it still stems from my country.
Yeah, that's great. That's really wonderful. And I believe it's also important work, what you do, and a lot of young and emerging Qatari filmmakers, because as you said, storytelling is important, and it's, in a way, you're documenting history in the making. So I think it's a really honorable even work from you and all the filmmakers. So
thank you.
Good to you all.
Bye.
You mentioned Egyptian films as a young Khalifa. So we want to know, shifting to the larger sphere of cinema in the region, And Arab films presented to Western audiences reflect a rich cultural heritage of filmmakers. And Arab cinema has previously been dominated by Egyptian productions, as you mentioned. Growing up, you were exposed to Egyptian films, and even I'm sure you recall this, but as when we were kids, also even Disney movies were dubbed into Egyptian dialects. Um, and now we are seeing this shift that a lot of countries, including Qatar, is getting more involved into that. So, can you tell us a little bit more about this evolving kind of industry and changing industries? And what are some of the trends that you have observed in your career?
Yeah. Some of the trends I've seen, particularly in my time with DFI, is the proliferation of female filmmaking in the Arab world. So, this continues to grow and we see it expanding beyond the region. It translates to, increasing international co-productions and accolades for Arab female professionals, film professionals. So it's really it's exciting to watch it continue to grow. And I expect that in like 5 years, it will grow even more. A couple of years ago in the Ajyal Film Festival, there was a point where all the awards was actually went to women in the region. So it's something that's really honorable, and we see it grow continuously more and more every year.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. And I also believe that right now Qatar, has not just when it comes to professional training or, kind of uh, more on the personal side of creative work, but also on the educational side. For example, we have Northwestern University in Qatar,
Mhm.
and we have, other universities also, if they were part of Qatar Foundation or Qatar University, that are educating the next generation of media professionals. Their programming covers understanding of media and photography and curating content. So, can you tell us a little bit more? What impact have you seen this have on Qatar's emerging filmmakers, like providing all these educational institutions and even professional development when it comes to filmmaking and storytelling, like the Doha Film Institute and all its programs? How do you think all these opportunities can support emerging filmmakers?
Yeah, Qatar's development of the knowledge sector in arts and culture has always spanned across disciplines. So it feels very natural for many of our filmmakers, to combine different aesthetics and approaches to that. This results in very innovative and bold work that is catching worldwide, not just, in our region, but everywhere in the world. So it's something that's very, very beautiful and it continues to grow.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. Let me see. Let us see some of the questions we have from our audience. We have a question here. Will Qatar have a virtual film festival this year? So this is a shift that we have seen in 2020, that Ajyal Film Festival, for example, because of COVID-19, shifted into this beautiful production of um, outdoors with the indoors. And uh, I think I want you to tell us more about Ajyal Film Festival
The
20.
shift that happened.
Yeah,
So obviously, us as DFI, we really tried as much as we can to continue to, stay. We shifted so quickly. Obviously, one of the main things that was the biggest struggle was like trying to create this, the technical aspect to it. Um, but our commitment to support the Arab voices, whether it's local, regional, global, is then our number one priority, really. So 2020 obviously was a challenging year for all of us, but we worked really quickly to navigate and try to figure out a way where we can have everyone have the same experience and enjoy it the same way as it was if it was 2019, 2018, 2017. So obviously we did the part physical, part virtual. So the part physical one was the harder one, obviously, because we had to we're under the crisis committee, the public health, and all of the different ministries, and we're trying to navigate a way where everyone can safely enjoy the festival and but still remain safe and healthy. So one of the things that we did was obviously check ihtiraz. You have to check the ihtiraz as a QR code where people have to they check your if you're if you caught the COVID or not. So, if you caught the COVID, it's red. If you didn't, it's green. So all the green ones can enter, wear masks, sanitize. Long story short, the Ajyal was separated into different categories. It was part of it was the drive-through cinema, where people can have their cars and park inside the red carpet and watch the films. This was happening in Lusail, the city in Doha. The other one, the other physical part was the geekdom, and it was happening in Qatar. Geekdom is a space for the gamers, for the people who love games and stuff. So that's their space there. It's physical. It's small. They cut up part physical, part virtual, and then ours was the other side. Sorry, the art exhibition, which I was in charge of, was happening in Musharraf. And it was a physical one, and people can enjoy it was the Outbreak exhibition. It was a very challenging year, 2020, to all of us. But we were so happy that everyone actually enjoyed it and wanted to keep it more. And that's what makes us continue to work. So now the drive-in cinema in Doha is happening until April. So it's going to happen during Qumrah as well.
Yeah, I can't believe the immense kind of amount of work and time that you've probably and the DFI team dedicated into managing all these different locations, even in Doha, and all the different activities. So that's really marvelous.
Yeah.
And I want to know, if you can share, of course, what are the plans for 2021 for Ajyal Film Festival? Are we still going to see exhibitions and geekdom, as you mentioned? It seems like Ajyal Film Festival is multifaceted. It's not just, the screenings of the films, but now it's becoming this massive production of art and culture that celebrates youth culture and celebrates all kind of different talents. And I believe also there are young jurors, right, as part of Ajyal, that it's not something that we've seen in any other film festivals around the world. So that's amazing. So can you share some of the maybe preliminary plans for 2021?
We really don't know what's going to happen in 2021, to be very honest with you. We know Qumrah is going to be part virtual as well. So we're trying to stay safe in with that. But people are still, Qumrah is one of the most intense programs. And people really love doing this virtually right now because everyone comes from different countries, and it's much more difficult, and it's much more restricted than anything else that we do. Ajyal is based, it's more local, it's more in Doha, but obviously Qumrah is a little bit tricky. We're still not sure about the Ajyal in 2021, but we're gonna make it the best possible festival that you can ever imagine, and we're still gonna give everyone the experience that they want. That's our number one dedication.
And I'm sure that you'll be able to make it, but we hope that by the time we have our festival here, because we're working with DFI on having a mini Qatari Film Festival that will be hosted, inshallah, in November. And we would love to have you and see you again, Khalifa, in the Qatari Film Festival here in DC. So this is a spoiler alert for all our viewers who kind of might be anticipating some of our work or want some kind of a scoop, I would say, not spoiler alert. So let me ask you more questions here, Khalifa. As an interdisciplinary artist, how are you utilizing different devices, let's say tablets or computers or modes of audience consumption and all these kind of different tools in filmmaking process?
I try to learn. Like I said, I'm still trying to find my voice in this world that we live in this filmmaking world and the art world. But my intention is to utilize whatever thing that I have into creating something. So whether it's using a projector or a phone or a digital camera or a 60mm camera or an 80mm camera, whatever device I can tell the story with, and I still try to experiment with that. And I think it's very important to have a story to tell, and then from there you can figure out how you want to, what kind of tablet, or whether it's a cell phone, whichever it is, to tell a story. I actually saw a movie called Unsane the other day, and the filmmaker used a phone throughout the whole, experience. And throughout the whole movie, when I was watching it, I was so invested in the movie. He's an American filmmaker. I forgot the name of the director, but he used a phone throughout the whole movie, and I wasn't taken away from the movie. I mean, he used something that people would think it's impossible, a couple of years from now, like years past. So it was. So I'm not against using any tablet to tell a story. I think as long as you have that story that you want to tell, the narrative that you want to, and then from there you can actually, then you can figure out which tablet you want to use.
Absolutely. So I'm also curious, Khalifa, to know, other than Border, what other upcoming projects you're working on that you would like maybe to talk a little bit more about with us today?
Well, right now it's just Border. I'm trying to make because it took me, I think I had the scripts 3 years ago, and I just kept pushing it, and I kept changing the story, and obviously I had work, so that took me away. But I was planning to shoot it in March of last year, like I said, and because of COVID, my main focus right now is just Border, and hopefully I'm gonna have it this year. Inshallah, like if all goes well.
Wonderful. And we will be here to screen at any time. Just,
Inshallah.
This will be your screening house whenever Border is ready.
Inshallah, I hope so.
So do you have any advice that you would like to give to aspiring filmmakers, Arab, Muslim, or otherwise, who are hoping to break into the film industry?
My advice to aspiring filmmakers is just to listen to whatever criticism someone gives you, not to take anything personally, and to learn as much as you can from being on set, helping your friend out with his story, script, be there just to watch the set, and to be very authentic to your stories, and to trust in your intuition, and your creativity, and to have a voice, to figure out what kind of voice that you want to have as a filmmaker. That's ultimately my advice.
This is solid advice. Thank you, Khalifa.
Thank you so much.
How about we try to show one more clip, one last time?
A clip?
Yeah.
I just hope that it doesn't.
No worries. We're all here, friends, and everyone is patient and excited, and really glad for your time and to see some of your work. So you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, let me try this one more time. So this was the last film that I did, the last documentary that I did, was the Shumila one that I'm talking about. It's in Arabic.
حسيت بعد ما طلعت معي هذه المفردة ان هذه المفردة بتكون سر غامض الكل راح يتضارب فيه. يعني تصوراتي للأغنية صارت نفس ما هي.
كنت أقول حق عايض قبل تطلع الأغنية، أقول له عايض شوف الأغنية أنت عندك شغلتين أنا أتوقعها شخصياً، يا أن الأغنية بتضرب ضربة كبيرة والناس كلها بتتكلم عنها وبتسوي صدى جداً كبير، يا أن الأغنية يعني ما راح تعمل شيء ولا راح تسوي شيء ولا راح تضرب ولا الناس بتعرفها وفوق هذا كله ممكن تنتقدها على اختيارك لمفردة شومينا.
شومينا شومينا يم الهدف راعي الحدث شومينا شفت نور.
It's a really nice documentation.
أراعي فيه
Thank you.
مسألة
Khalifa.
نص
Thank you.
غنائي.
Thank you. Okay. Did I close the stop share thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Great.
Don't worry about it. So, can you show us one more clip of a title or a project you have in English?
Yeah, sure.
This will be a difficult question, but it's like when you ask parents, who's your favorite child? But what is your favorite project so far?
The fabricator that I did, this one, the one that I showed in the beginning, only because this was really fun to shoot, and it was something that was I felt like this was something that was close to home for me. So it comes from a place where I genuinely felt like I wanted to tell the story. Whereas when I was writing and I also love my feature script that I did see here, The Voice of Amira, which is partially based on a true story, and then I fictionalized it, and it was happening in period Doha in the 1970s. I still haven't filmed that yet, but it will happen inshallah soon. So I can show. Okay, so this was my junior year project that I did when I was in college.
So this was when you were in New York.
Yes.
New York, Miss Jane McKenzie in the hizzy. Go talk to her.
Me up last week. We she had to go to her neighbor's cat's funeral.
Maybe this week, El Gato will not be dying.
Thanks for the kale chips, but Charlie, they taste horrible.
They are healthfully. They are gross. Go.
Oh, Napoleon Dynamite's coming our way.
So yeah, so this was.
Pretend.
Oh, sorry. So this was a project that I did in junior year. I was trying to explore comedy. I was trying to explore different genres, but it was fun to film. This was done in the school library.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And are these your friends or your classmates?
No, there's a website called castingnetwork.com where you just cast, SAG-AFTRA, union, non-union actors, and they get paid by the school, which is great. So yeah, and all the facilities are included in the school, so it was really nice.
That's wonderful. That's amazing. So I think we reached to the end of our Expression Art and Culture talk today. I want to thank all our viewers today who joined us at Cake Expression Series. And if you are excited and interested in following up with our news and our upcoming events, I would like to invite you to join our mailing list and subscribe on our website. And I want to thank our sponsors and friends like the Doha Film Institute for supporting our work and our mission. And lastly, but not least, to you, Khalifa, for joining us on a Friday at 8 p.m., I believe, Doha time, to share some of your experiences and your journey with us. And I'm sure this is just the start of an amazing career ahead of you, inshallah. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Fatma. Thank you to the entire team of Qatar America. You guys are doing amazing, and I'm really proud of you guys, actually.
Thank you.
I want to thank the viewers as well.
Thank you so much, and hope to see everybody in our next Expression series or any of our other events that we have, and see you in DC soon, inshallah, Khalifa.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care.